What's up, everyone? Alex Corey here with CultivatedChange.com. It was actually quite nice coming out to film this, but it has turned into an interesting overcast day, and it's quite fitting for the video we're going to go over. This is something that I've had decent success combating, but has sort of plagued me since my early 20s. Something about 350 million people suffer with. We're going to go over ancestral and science-backed strategies to combat Seasonal Affective Disorder, or SAD, coming up. Disclaimer before I start this, I am not a mental health professional or counselor, so seek help if you are having serious depressive symptoms in conjunction with any of these other things I mentioned. Obviously, it's serious and can affect your quality of life, and it's worthwhile to have professional help. When I'm going over each specific lifestyle change, I will do my best to put the effect with psychiatric medication and or placebo next to it, and in almost all the cases, in case you don't want to watch out for those, the papers we're going to go over and the lifestyle changes have at least the same as, if not more profound effect than antidepressant medication or just general psychiatric prescription drugs, anti-anxiety, whatever, and at least the same as a placebo, which is astonishing, just that your mind, via epigenetic changes and genetic signaling, can heal you without you doing anything. So just the power of intention and thought can create most of the changes you're looking for as well. Let's get into it. SAD is basically just the winter blues. So it is depressive tendencies that are triggered with a change of season, hence the seasonal and seasonal affective disorder. Basically just whenever your circadian rhythm gets screwed up, low light levels, cold, dark, things that are depressing hit, people's moods that are affected by this, and probably just in general, tend to recede a little bit. This happens to me every year, and this happened to me quite potently in college. I don't really share this with many people because it's just depressing, but I figured it would be useful for someone. So in my early 20s, I got sad to the point where I was close to clinical depression, where zero energy. I always looked forward to going to bed as early as I could, just because the hope of it being better the next day was always better than what I was currently feeling. No real ambition to pursue goals, hang out with anyone. Just life kind of takes a dull appearance, as it does in depression. So good thing is there are plenty of ways to combat this that work, that work intuitively. We're going to go over my top ones. Initially, I was just going to do this as the benefits of resistance exercise specifically on depressive symptoms, but I've been feeling this take over as the clocks change and as the seasons change, so I felt it needed to be a little broader to help anyone that was going through this. First thing we're going to go over is the heavy impact ones, and that is my favorite, resistance training. So this has a legion of benefits outside of depressive symptoms. But as for depressive symptoms, there was a meta-analysis, which I'll put right here, and it covered, I believe, 33 studies and close to 2,000 people, and it's impossible to measure the improvement to depressive symptoms clinically. So it's did it help compared to placebo? And they found that it did dramatically help. So that's RET, you'll see, R-E-T, resistance exercise training, compared to aerobic training alone, which also helps. So this is the time to double down on your training in general, or daily movement. Daily movement helps everyone, always. Even if you don't have depressive symptoms, it helps everything. So this is the time of year which you really need to focus on that daily habit of resistance training and daily movement. Resistance training just because it has all the other effects of improving bone mineral density, improving mood in general, improving metabolism, basically everything you would want out of life it improves. So double down on that. That's number one. Sleep is going to be my other one. And this is a tricky one since seasonal affective disorder often negatively impacts sleep. If you can, take steps. So that's darken your room, make sure you're quiet, get rid of all of those LEDs in your room, any light source whatsoever. Get rid of in your room. You want to be in pitch black. Half hour, preferably an hour before you go to bed. See if you can eliminate all your blue light sources. So that's turn off your TV. That's, if you can, flip your phone off or get an app like Flux. That's F.LUX, and that will change the colors and temperature of your screen to match the sun. So it'll eliminate blue light after about, I think it's 5 p.m. So your phone will have a naturally warm glow, red and orange light, as would a sunset be. So that helps. Anything you can do, don't eat right before bed to improve your quality of sleep, just so that your brain can recover all its waste products and your body can clean up any inflammation. What they think causes seasonal affective disorder, other than changes to your circadian rhythm, are inflammation in your body and your brain specifically, and this is impacting your brain's ability to produce serotonin. So serotonin is the chemical that is used to regulate the conversion to melatonin to help you actually get to sleep, and that boosts your mood generally during the day. So this is melatonin transits your body in the morning when you first wake up and is converted to serotonin, which improves your mood and gets you ready for the day. So anything we can do to help the production of serotonin in your gut. And the third most important one is nutrition. Need to bulletproof our nutrition. First and foremost, without going into anything specific, because this video will be way too long and I'll make a specific one about nutrition, is get rid of all the highly refined, industrialized, processed foods out of your diet. That's seed oils, that's oxidized seed oils specifically, so that's canola, that's safflower, sunflower. Anything that you couldn't do yourself, don't use. So they're oxidized the minute they hit the shelf. Just harsh methods used to extract them from the actual seeds. That's refined flour, sugars, things you know, alcohol, things you don't feel great after consuming. Those cut out immediately. Quite a few people feel, or almost everyone feels better eliminating gluten from their diet. So those are the big ones: seed oils, gluten, and highly refined simple sugars. Get rid of those and you'll feel much better. Optimizing would be a complete amino acid profile. So that's what an Ancestral diet, what I promote currently, does really well. So that is a complete amino acid profile. Specifically here, we're looking at tryptophan. I'll put the study here. Tryptophan is the specific amino acid that is used, I think it's a 2-step enzymatic process to convert to serotonin. So you need tryptophan specifically to get into serotonin. That's found in mostly animal foods. That's turkey, that's chicken, seafood. So you need a well-rounded ancestral diet, and you don't have any problem with at least forming the building blocks to get serotonin so that your brain can convert all of those things properly. These three are foundational. That's to even allow your body and brain to work normally under normal circumstances. So that is fundamental. The next one we're going to go for specifically for nutrition is omega-3s. So this is also what the Ancestral diet does well. Prioritize your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. You want way more omega. The traditional American diet is saturated in omega-6s, and that's the seed oils I was talking about. That's poor quality meat. That is, you get that regardless. So you can't avoid omega-6s in our traditional diet, and you do need them for some things, but you want way more omega-3s. Omega-6s are not anti-inflammatory. They used to be thought to be pro-inflammatory. More research has come out, they are now just neutral. You do need omega-6s in your body, but omega-3s are pro-inflammatory. I'll put the pathways here. So you need as many omega-3s as you can get. So that's olive oil. That's why fatty fish and grass-fed red meat are considered more beneficial than anything. So if you're going to make a considered effort to get protein in, get those. If you can, good quality, cold water, fatty fish, that's salmon, cod, my favorites. Put a bunch of ones here. This is a good site you can use to check on the contamination quality of where you're getting your fish. Grass-fed ruminant, so that's lamb, that's grass-fed, grass-finished beef, bison, any of that has good omega-3 profile. And that is used as the building blocks of your gray matter in your brain. And omega-3s have a neuroprotective effect, and they are anti-inflammatory. So again, anything we can do to reduce inflammation in our brain will help those neurotransmitters communicate, fill into their slots that they're supposed to, and help your brain function normally and stabilize your mood. If those things you're doing anyway, like myself, if you eat pretty clean and your sleep is okay and you're training and you're still hitting depressive symptoms, which is what I've had, the next thing to go do is going to be a sunlight. Oh, or I should say, you need to worry about your vitamin D. That's probably the biggest cause of seasonal affective disorder, because the light levels, as you can see out here, pretty gloomy, disappear for the most part, and they flip-flop every 6 months, obviously. So get your vitamin D. Diet sources aren't great. That's cold water fish again, but the dosage content is real low in food. So expose yourself to sunlight, get outside as much as you can. If that's still not doing anything, because it's cloudy and dark and miserable, vitamin D supplementation is important. It's really hard to overdo it. Anywhere from 1 to 5,000 IUs a day. A lot of people report better mood just with that. I'll put the studies here. The other thing is a sun lamp. So this is going to be a lamp that you buy and put on your desk, beam it yourself for about 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes-ish. Ionizing helps. Basically, you're trying to replicate the minor intensity of the sun beaming at your face and your eyeballs. Most of them recommend about 20 minutes, similar to the exposure you would have outside in direct sunlight on your body, to create vitamin D absorption from the pre-cholesterol form in your skin. So those are cheap. They can be some that are very expensive. There's a point of diminishing returns. There are great studies on even the most basic. You do want at least 10,000 lux, L-U-X. So that's a measurement of light intensity. So I'll put the study here. They're like $30, and they've helped me every year. I was actually pissed this morning because I couldn't find mine as I was thinking about making this video, because I've been having depressive symptoms. I moved, so it's probably in a box somewhere that I haven't unpacked, but think about getting that. And when you first get up in the morning, this is similar to the primal rule of exposing yourself to natural sunlight as soon as you wake up. So that cues your melatonin to get out of your system, serotonin to start converting, cortisol levels rise a little bit to make you energized for the day, and this is usually what people feel. They just don't want to get out of bed. There's no incentive, there's no motivation, there's no drive. And that's just because partly we won't even touch on purpose and goals and all that, but partly because the neurochemistry isn't working properly, so you have to fight your body on pure willpower or shame or whatever you're using just to get out of bed. So sunlight helps drastically. The other ones that are as crucial, but we'll go into separate videos because they're way too long, are social connection. Obviously, you need to feel connected to other people around you and to something greater than yourself. So if you can find a daily meditation practice or something to practice gratitude just for what you have and for being alive, that is known to improve stability, mental health, and general outlook on life. And the last one we'll go into is going to be purpose. Obviously, there has to be some reason for you to get out of bed. If you hate what you do every day, if you don't have robust social networks, if you don't enjoy your day-to-day, not a lot of reason for you to drag yourself out of bed when it's cold and miserable outside. You need to have something to look forward to. You need to have a goal you're working toward. You need to have some reason for your heart to beat. I've had many issues with this in the past, probably the biggest turning point in my adult life was a couple years ago when a partner at the time, it was midwinter and I was just a miserable person, and she said, "Your soul feels dim." That was a wake-up call. Sorry about the scene change. I was reviewing the footage on the camera and it started freaking out around right there. So we'll continue this later. I had just mentioned how my wake-up call was when my former partner had said that my soul felt dim. And that's because I was working a job that I hated at the time and didn't have a lot to look forward to in my day-to-day. And then sad on top of that, just makes everything miserable. That was actually the point at which I transitioned into my health career that I've been paying attention to for about 10 years, but that's when I decided to launch this. So some good things can come out of that darkness when you realize that you can't continue that way anymore in the future, but rather not get there to notice that you need a change. That's it for this video. I would be very curious to know if you've had trouble with this in your own life. Let me know in the comments below what you've done to deal with it, other than maybe some of the basic stuff like walking, or if you had to institute multiple avenues of success, if you've had to change everything. I found that most people can't do just one. I'm not the only one that has this, and I do have friends that experience it, and it's usually a couple things. If their diet's already on point, it's usually starting an exercise program, joining a group. This is why CrossFit's so popular, because it's got the nutrition thing bantered around with it. It's a movement-based social exercise, same thing with group yoga or anything like that. Group movement exercise and classes are one of the best things you can do in the winter, just to reestablish a couple of those things that just make you happy, make your neurotransmitters fire, and give you a reason to get out of bed in the morning. If you would, like and subscribe to this video, and we will do future ones on the importance of social connection. And there's a ton of research being done on omega-3 to 6 ratio, so we will have plenty of those coming up. Thanks for watching this video, everyone. I hope you found it of some value. I did want to mention, other than the specific places in the video, my discount codes are below for Primal Blueprint and Primal Kitchen. That is your online store for well-sourced, high-quality supplementation, such as the omegas and vitamin D that we went over, along with a whole bunch of other things such as adaptogens, collagen, highly recommended well-sourced ingredients, which is why it is a premium price, not much more than you would find at a brick-and-mortar health food store. Thanksgiving is coming up, and they do have some pretty good tasting gravies that you don't have to worry about feeling a little bloated from lots of sugar and flour, and a whole host of barbecue sauces and dressings, things like that, that usually contain a ton of interesting seed oils and sugars that most people are, if they are on their health journey, trying to avoid, and they end up sneaking in those the dressings and fillers afterwards. Until next video, guys.